friends, it's Monday Morning Connection. I hope you had a wonderful Easter and that you just felt the presence of God with your family and your friends yesterday. All right, so I had something to read that thought was good. So it says, when God doesn't do what we want, it's not easy. It never has been, and it never will be. But faith is the conviction that God knows more than we do about this life, and He will get us through it. Remember, disappointment is cured by revamped expectations. Sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. But yeah, lifetime sometimes doesn't happen the way we expected. You know, we have all these goals, you have these plans, and it's like slowly the car breaks down, and then you get a different job, or you have to move to a different area. Maybe, you know, the AC breaks, you have to fix the roof, and you have a hurricane that comes through, you know, or a windstorm and hail, and maybe your health, something happens in your health and you're just like, well, I wasn't planning for that surgery, or, you know, something, my body just isn't working the way I expected it to be. And so all of those are shifts in the way we expected life to be and our expectations. And so, you know, we all have our plan, and sometimes that plan is just not what we expected, we were hoping for. And it could be, you know, that, you know, our plan looks different because of things that we have to deal with, you know, people passing away, jobs change, you know, moving, just all those things I just talked about. It's just, sometimes it's like and sometimes it can be overwhelming, you know, because sometimes they happen all the time. I know there's like the, you know, the law of threes. We always like, oh no, we've had two. What's the third one coming? But they can make us frustrated, and in some ways, sometimes like stop us from moving forward. And so it's important to look at that and kind of say, okay, what is going on? But we have to stop and what we're doing, and we have to make a shift, and we have to change. And sometimes some people like change, and other people go, you know, not so much. I don't want any more change. And so the issue is, a lot of times we have the illusion that we're under control. And so we have all these plans, we have all these goals, and so, well, that's what's going to happen. And so when these things come, it becomes overwhelming to have to change and go a different direction. And so it can be very stressful. And it can be hard to let go of things. But it's so important to have an attitude of surrender to God and say, okay, it's your will, it's your timing, you know, help me to be good with and comfortable with those changes. And a lot of times we have to make shifts in our emotions. Like I said, instead of being overwhelmed, say, okay, take a deep breath, and I'm gonna, you know, see where the adventure is in this. Sometimes we have to change our beliefs and say, well, gosh, with all this happening, you know, the world just kind of isn't safe. And we have to say, you know, I've put my trust and faith in God, and so I'm going to take a deep breath and, you know, have forgiveness and clear that. Sometimes we have life commandments that say, you know, I need to be in control. I need to be able to protect myself from others. And a lot of times those life commandments can get in the way. One of the things that I like as an illustration is that sometimes if you've ever driven on a wet road with snow and things like that, sometimes, you know, drive over it, and so that it's muddy underneath if it's a dirt road. And so then those tracks get stuck in the road. And so when it dries and it's a dry day, you're driving down that same road, but you're in those tracks and you can't get out of it because they're going in one direction and they're so deep. And so that's an example of how hard sometimes it is to make a change. And what I love about the healing modality that I do is that's what we address. We say, okay, your beliefs, your emotions, all that kind of stuff can get stuck in your body and in your tissues and make it really hard to get out of those tracks. And what we do is identify, what those emotions, beliefs, and life commandments are that are keeping you stuck. And then we energetically help you move out of those tracks and get it to stop being in those tracks, so you have a kind of a bigger view and say, okay, I can handle this. I can figure out what to do. So I'm Jody Colegrove, and I help you discover that root cause of that health issue. So we clear toxins and pathogens and traumas that are impacting your health. Then I reinduce regenerative medicine, things like stem cells and redox signaling molecules to help your body be able to thrive. And that way you can have answers and get answers and have clarity on what to do, have energy to be able to do it. So then you can live in peace, knowing you're headed in that right direction, getting back the health you want that God originally gave you, that you so richly deserve. So remember that disappointment is cured by revamping our expectations. So when we revamp our beliefs, we look at them, our emotions, our life commandments, and what's been kind of keeping us stuck in that rut, when we revamp those, then we're letting go of those emotions that aren't serving us and others, and also God, because it distances us from Him. And so we're able to get on a better track and know where we're going. So I hope you join my Facebook group, which is Holistic Health for Christians, because we talk about what is tapping and how that will help you. Talking about toxins and how they impact your life, and then letting go of traumas and showing you how to do that so you can get your health back on track. So it's Holistic Health for Christians, tapping toxins and trauma. I hope you have a blessed rest of the day. All right.